America, my name is Osei-Frimpong. I come to you live every week. And today we're going to talk about philosophy of the family or family philosophy, depending on how you want to take this video. And I'm writing a book on families and philosophy right now. So we're going to talk about this quite a bit over the next, till I get this finished, probably a little bit beyond, because a lot of you need this. So let's get on to it. It's not obvious that families are philosophically relevant entities. But whatever you are, whatever else you are a member of a family. And you're a member of a family in a way that determines how you kind of see the world. The particular way you see the world. If you grew up in an Orthodox Jewish family, that'd be different in a way. You grew up in a Mormon family, which is different in a way. You grew up in a conservative Islamic family, or a Catholic family, or a vague Protestant family, or if you're in my day, we called latchkey kids. But now that I look about it, it was a quality of neglect where you were abandoned to the market. My mom worked 3 to 11, so I was on my own. So there's a way in which whatever else you are a member of the family. And I think one of my family members just came out here. Do you want to come say hi to the people? Come say hi to the people.
People.
Hi, people. This is my family. Wherever else she is a member of this family. Hey, Ann. Let me pop out the show and I'll be right up. What's up?
Daddy.
Yes.
Why is my sister's lesson on Thursday?
Yours is on Tuesday and hers is on Thursday.
Why is it?
That's just how it is. Would you like to switch days?
I just had my piano lesson.
I know. You just had your piano lesson. She's going to have her piano lesson on Thursday. All right. I got to finish the show.
Okay.
All right. So, whatever else you are in your life, you're a member of the family, and that comes with muscular commitments. For example, we just talked about piano lessons. For that one, she plays violin very well. She plays piano so-so, secondary instrument. Her sister plays cello very well and plays piano so-so. It's her secondary instrument. Whatever else she was going to, and those are instruments that I picked for them, both primary and secondary. Like whatever else, part of what it is to be an Osei-Frimpong, to be in this household, is to play an instrument well, and then piano so-so. My youngest plays piano very well because that's his primary instrument, and then I'll switch him to oboe when he gets in about 6th grade because I play the oboe and it'd just be easier transition. So whatever else you are, you're a member of a family, and that determines not just your household activities, but that determines how you comport yourself outside of the household. Right? It's not just, you grow in Orthodox Jews. You grow up an Orthodox Jew. It's not just that you don't eat cheeseburgers in the household. Like that changes the quality of restaurants you go to for the rest of your life in a certain way, or what you order from the menu in a certain way. So whatever else you are, you're members of family, and that family shapes how you conceive of the world as an ethical agent, as a family member, even as a member of civil society. That's, the job, the quality of job you take. For example, it would be really weird if my kids grew up to be union-busting lawyers. Right? Because I would think that, did they grow up in this family? Because I would think that I have just the habits and activities of this family preclude that sensibility in a way that I would be a little bit shocked. I would be remiss. And I'd question my worth as, a father. But I don't really think that's going to be that big of a problem. So, whatever else you are, you're a member of the family. And when you are a child, that's almost the only other thing you are with any sort of independence. And I say that because you don't know enough about the world, nor do you have power to move anything in the world without the concerted activity of your family. They can't do much alone. Autonomously. They can't do much autonomously. They can be slaves to their own appetites, but it's not as if those appetites are rigorously ran through and filtered through a wise understandings of the workings of the world. And so that's not autonomy. Right? They can get their independence and their self-determination through the activities of the family. And they'll mature into be able to making autonomous and independent decisions of their own, and be self-determined without being necessarily a member of this family. They'll be members of their own family, or independent in their own right. But as it stands, that girl you saw right there, her independence is a matter of being independent from nature or being independent from the market through being a member of this family. So she gets freedom through her family membership, which is one reason why when you dissolve families, you're actually dissolving self-determination of the children involved in those families, which, one of the thesis of the book I'm writing is that divorce is a form of child abuse. The willing divorce is a form of child abuse, especially for reasons of just domestic incompatibility without a fault. Because in those cases, you're asking children to reconcile differences that you've announced as being unreconcilable, and that's just a recipe for sending them into existential dread and all sorts of other kind of problematic ways of conceiving the world. So we think about conception as just like a sexual act, and that's, I think, a holdover from certain versions of Christianity. But conception proper is a long time because you are the one who gives your child the concepts of how to understand the world. The family activities actually govern the conceptual determinations that they take in interpreting the world that's not just the household. Right? So conception is actually an 18-year process, or, it's a process of childhood. It's a process of conception because it's not just an act, the sexual act. It is also you determining the totality of your children's needs, you determining the particular way in which those needs are met, and you actually participating in the activity, the concerted activity of meeting those needs in that particular way. And what we're talking about, anything from diapers. For example, people don't understand that diapers are not universal. Not everyone uses diapers. I didn't know that. I just assumed everyone uses diapers. But no, not everyone uses diapers. Some children potty train without diapers. They just kind of figure it out on their own. That's a family decision that you make. And then which particular kinds of diapers you use. Do you use cloth diapers or do you use regular disposable diapers? That's a family decision. So the family is deciding not only the totality of needs that diapers are in need, they're determining the particular kind of diaper that's in need. And then they're actually, changing and diapering the kid. That's the same with waking up in the morning. We do runs as a family every morning during the summer. That is a concerted activity that affects their bedtimes at night and how they, comport themselves to other activities and other people in the world, because they're the ones who are in shape. My kids are in shape, the whole family. That's part of what it is to be part of this family. You get up, run a mile and some change, come back, have breakfast, do the music lessons, do the whole thing. That's part of what it is to be in this family. And that's going to be, for the rest of their life, part of what they're growing up. It might not be what they do after they leave this household, but it will be part of their growing up for the rest of their life. It'll be the base out of which they contrast other decisions they make. So whatever else I've given them an understanding of what it is to grow up in this family, and a rather muscular one that affects other aspects of their life, which is, I think I put a lot of thought into it, so I think it's good. But there are other particular ways which are also good. They're just mutually exclusive with this way. And then there are ways that are just bad, are thoughtless, where you just abandon your kids to the market. And then they think of that as a way to be, and you've conceived them that way, as creations of the market, which is dicey, because the market has its own interests. As family members, their interests are unified. Their interests are my interests. We all rise and fall together. You abandon them to the market, and the market will feed on them, and the interests are not aligned. Right. So when we understand family, we have to understand that the activity of being a family member sets the conception for not only the household activities, but how that family member comports themselves outside of the household. They are Osei-Frimpongs. And what it means to be an Osei-Frimpong is something that they battle with. And I often say the words, as an Osei-Frimpong, or you Osei-Frimpongs, we do this. Other people might do that, and that is their right. But in this household, we do this. And that is perfectly appropriate. And if you don't find yourself saying that to your kids, you're letting alien forces raise your kids in a way that is a little bit unbecoming, and you need to watch out for that. All right. So, by the way, if you appreciate what I'm saying, go ahead and go to www.funkyacademic.com, because you're not going to get this quality of wisdom everywhere on the internet, but you should. First of all, if you're about to have kids, go ahead and watch this with the person you're about to have kids with and talk about it. I might save you a lot of fights because a lot of parents don't understand that they have to be parents. They think that they just I did a video on chia parenting where you just think you just kind of grow them and feed them and water them, and you think that they grow on their own. But no, there's conceptual work that you need to do. You feed them their understanding of the world. That's part of conceiving a kid, giving them concepts so that they understand their place and the world around them and can make sense of that, and thereby become agents through, intentional actions within the world that you've kind of primed for them. And if you don't understand that, you're probably bad at parenting. And it's okay. A lot of people are bad at parenting. I just want the next generation to be better for cultural reasons. I do this for the culture. So once again, if you appreciate what I do, that one has to go to camps and they all have lessons and everything. And I appreciate the $5, $15, or $50 a month that you donate so that I can keep doing the quality of work I'm doing. So the activity of the family has to be unified because it's the only sense of being that the child has at, for example, her age. Right? So if for some reason my wife and I were to split for irreconcilable differences, she would be completely confused about what things in life mean if they don't reconcile. And she'd be completely confused about why we would put her through that kind of confusion. For some sort of arbitrary differences. So, that's why I think it's okay to divorce if there's a wrong, but if there's no wrong and it's just irreconcilable differences, you're asking children to reconcile something that you've said is irreconcilable and then just kind of be damned to their confused life that you've bequeathed them, which I think is irresponsible. All right. So, the unity of the family is a matter of the activity of the family members in creating and thinking through what their unified family is, right? So it's an activity. Being a family member is an activity. You wake up a certain, as this family does, you run as this family does. It's a series of activities that are unified because they mutually reinforce other activities of the family, and then reinforce and enable other non-family interactions. Right? For example, my kid can go play in tournaments now. With her soccer team, soccer team is not a part of the family, but she's in the kind of shape she can because of the training we do as a family. So our quality of family affects the kinds of things and the kinds of determinations she can make of herself outside of the family. And when I say determinations of herself, I can say she can become a goal scorer, which is a determination of yourself that you've done because of the kind of family that you were raised in. You could be a concert violinist because of the kind of family that you were raised in. So, a philosophy of the family actually thinks about conception as more than just a sexual act, but as an act of conceiving a whole, human. You give them the concepts through which that they understand the world, and practically and theoretically, because the way they move within the family affects how they move and understand their expectations of and within the world. A lot of people don't do all of this, and I say this, people think I'm being pedantic, but a lot of people don't do all this and they end up with screwed up kids or confused about why their kids are confused or ill-equipped. I'm telling you that your job as a parent is actually culturally rich. And you could come from a culture which does a lot of heavy lifting for you, one of these Orthodox cultures that answers a lot of the big questions for you. But if you eschew that Orthodox culture that's going to answer a lot of the big questions for you, you need to give content. You need to give alternative content from your own dome. Else, you're just abandoning them to a market society that wants to predate on them. And, America's done a lot of bad things to black families over the last 200 years, because it would have been impossible. it would have been impossible to submit black people to the quality of degradation that the U.S. did if our families were intact, which is why our families have never really been intact. And you could say like, well, you know, the Jim Crow segregated South had an intact family. No, they just didn't have newspapers and very good records of what an intact family would actually look like. Our families were overdetermined by a civil society that needed, you know, women to clean for white women and men to either be disposable or working in jobs that they did not determine themselves. And you better believe that affected the black family, because look, if you're spending all your time cleaning up after a white family, you can't really, you know, watch your own kids in the same way, right? Right, in the same way. So whatever else you are, here's the message from the video. Whatever else you are a member of the family, and the kind of family you are a member of affects however else you see the world and however else other members of the family see the world, insofar as that family is a functional unity, right? If the family is dysfunctional, then, you know, everybody can see the world in a different way. But then when they come together as a family, it'll just be a mess. But insofar as the family is a functional unity, that means it's going to affect in a pretty uniform way how everyone else views things outside of the family and themselves as independent actors outside of the family. Thank you for your time. If you appreciate what I'm doing, go ahead and go to www.funkyacademic.com, and I'll come to you maybe later this week, because I have an idea. My daughter graduated 5th grade, going on to middle school next year, 6th grade. And so it listed a list of everyone's aspirations in her class. And there are some fascinating, I'm going to do a little bit of a little social scientific study of the 72 5th graders who graduated with her, and like their aspirations. And it should be pretty, I found fascinating things. I'll give you one tidbit. One tidbit is there were 15 white girls in her class. 5 of them wanted to be teachers. So a third of the white girls wanted to be teachers. There were 25 black boys in her class, in her 5th grade class overall, all the 5th grades. And of those 25 black boys, 0 of them wanted to be teachers. So whatever else the teachers are teaching in that school, it is not attractive as a profession for, you know, the 25 black boys of the 72 students who graduated in her class. I'll go into more details about what they did want to be and opine, theorize about why and what that means about what we teach people about the functional careers and ways of life and jobs that are available in my next show. So thank you for your time. I'll see you then.